Welcome to our journey into the ancient city of Ife, often described as the cradle of Yoruba civilization and a sacred center of West African history. For centuries, Ife has stood as a city of kings, a center of religion, and a beacon of artistic genius. Today, we'll trace its origins, explore its political and spiritual roles, and uncover the legacies that made Ife one of the most influential cities in African history. According to Yoruba tradition, the origins of Ife go back to the dawn of time. Ife was believed to be the place where Olodumare, the supreme god, sent Oduduwa to establish order on earth. The myths tell us that Oduduwa descended from the heavens with a chain, carrying sand, a rooster, and a palm kernel. He poured the sand upon the waters, and the rooster spread it out to form dry land. From the palm kernel, the sacred tree of life grew, symbolizing prosperity. This divine act marked the beginning of human settlement in Ife. Historically, scholars reassess these traditions and point to the 9th to 12th centuries CE as the period when Ife emerged as a significant urban center. Archaeological evidence, such as potsherd pavements, intricate terracotta sculptures, and remains of early urban planning, all point to Ife as one of the earliest complex societies in West Africa. Ife was not just a political city. It was the spiritual heart of the Yoruba world. It housed the sacred groves, shrines, and the rituals that bound the people to their gods. The Oni of Ife, its sacred king, was regarded as a divine figure, a mediator between the human and spiritual worlds. In fact, many Yoruba kingdoms recognized Ife as their spiritual homeland. The city was also central to Ifa divination, the practice of seeking wisdom from Orunmila, the deity of knowledge. Priests and pilgrims came from distant lands to seek spiritual guidance in Ife. By the 12th and 13th centuries, Ife had grown into a powerful city-state with far-reaching influence. The Oni's authority extended beyond Ife itself. Oral traditions state that Oduduwa's descendants spread out from Ife to establish kingdoms across Yorubaland. These included Oyo, Benin, and other states that traced their legitimacy back to Ife. The crown of kingship, known as Ade, symbolized this sacred link. However, Ife's political dominance was not always uncontested. There were internal disputes and rivalries between ruling houses. Archaeological findings also suggest that conflict and population movements shaped the fortunes of the city over time. Ife's greatest legacy perhaps lies in its art. Between the 12th and 15th centuries, artists of Ife created masterpieces in terracotta, stone, and bronze that stunned the world when they were discovered in the early 20th century. The naturalism of Ife heads, with their serene expressions, intricate beaded crowns, and precise facial markings, has been compared to the works of classical Greece. But these works are entirely African in inspiration, rooted in Yoruba spiritual and political culture. These sculptures were not simply decorative. They were sacred objects used in royal rituals, ancestor worship, and coronation ceremonies. They represented the divine nature of kingship and the sacredness of lineage. By the late 15th century, Ife began to decline as other Yoruba states, particularly Oyo, rose to prominence. Trade routes shifted, internal strife weakened the city, and the growing Atlantic trade began to reshape West Africa's economy. Yet, Ife never disappeared. It remained the spiritual capital of the Yoruba people. The Oni of Ife is still regarded as the custodian of Yoruba tradition and religion. Even today, Yoruba kings and chiefs look to Ife for spiritual legitimacy. The story of Ife is the story of creation, kingship, art, and faith. From its mythical origins as the birthplace of humanity to its historical role as a center of power and creativity, Ife continues to inspire awe. Its art speaks of a people deeply connected to the divine, and its traditions remind us of the enduring strength of Yoruba civilization. Thank you for joining this exploration of ancient Ife. If you enjoyed this journey, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into African history and culture.